So if you don't know, the largest fighting game tournament in the world, Evo, is happening this weekend starting from August 4th, ending on August 7th. And of course, there's a lot of expectations going into this tournament, because not only is this the biggest tournament in the world, but it's also the time where a lot of companies, a lot of fighting game developers actually do their biggest showcases when it comes to their fighting game announcements. Some of the biggest expectations going into this event are something Street Fighter 6 related, something Tekken related, and something Guilty Gear Strive related. But alas, there's one title that's been going under the radar that hasn't had too much talking about it, and that's because they went underground a little bit, and that is Project L. The 2v2 League of Legends fighting game by Riot, developed by the Cannon brothers, is definitely something that sparked a huge interest among the community when it was first announced. And the last time we saw the game, they showed off some more characters, showed some gameplay, and talked about the actual online structure. They also went on record and said they're done going underground and actually give us a few more updates according to this year. So if you don't know, we at least know that Tony is going to be there at Evo. Now, we don't really expect an announcement there, but we do know that they are going to be there nonetheless. But apparently they just released a diary talking a little bit more about Project L. So we're going to take a look at this, see exactly what's inside of this 2-minute diary that they have to say, and hopefully we get a few more details about what this game is going to be, possibly some new characters and just some other things that we just haven't thought about. Let's see what we got here. All right, seeing some of the character work in the background, we know Ari is going to be inside the game, looking at some of the animations, and that was the character they showed off last time. He looked really cool.
Tom here, back with a quick update on Project L, Riot's upcoming 2D fighter. Last November, we dropped an update showing off some
this is the gameplay they showed last time.
Rebooted art style. Honestly, showing off the game this early was
showing off some of the fan reactions.
And we're grateful that so many of you were so excited about Project L.
God, that was so sick.
Your reactions and excitement.
It was very cool.
Reassurance that we're headed in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah, people are very happy about the way they're going to do the online.
Talk about what's been happening in the team over the past few months and what's coming next.
Okay.
Last time I shared that we honed in on our gameplay.
A little more
as
Jinx.
an assist-based fighter with 2 champs per team. We're finishing up our work on core mechanics now, and a lot of the team has moved on to building.
Wait, we didn't see Jinx last time, did we?
Around game features like competitive play and our social systems.
I don't think we did.
One of our goals is to remove as many barriers as possible from you enjoying Project L. We want you to be able to play no matter where you live, what your skill level is, or how much money you have to spend on a game.
That's very important.
For that, I'm happy to confirm that Project L will be free to play.
What?
If you played a Riot game before, this probably won't.
So they're actually doing it? It's going to be free to play?
Our team is made up of fighting game veterans and folks who are passionate about serving the FGC. And we operate with one approach. If we wouldn't like it, we won't do it. When it comes to monetization, we promise to be respectful of both your time and your wallet. Also, the team has put together a blog post to give you a sneak peek on development of a new fighter.
Oh, so there's a blog post as well.
Illaoi, the Kraken Priestess.
Yo, who is this?
The spiritual leader.
I don't know too many League of Legends characters.
Is a physical powerhouse who tests the strength of souls for her tentacle god.
Yo, she looks crazy.
On how
I actually got to look at this character a bit.
And how Illaoi will look and play in Project L. That's all from me for now, but I'll be back later this year with one more update.
So we're going to have one more update this year.
This weekend is Evo. To everyone heading out to the event, stay safe, good luck in the tournaments, and try not to drown in pools.
Fair enough. So in my opinion, this is actually a super huge dub by the team making this a free-to-play game. We already seen how successful that multiverses actually is with the free-to-play model, but also it just makes sense, right? Everything that Riot has done pretty much has made the free-to-play model inside of it. It has the free-to-play model inside of it. So making sure that this game also follows that just makes a lot of sense. And they also just went ahead and stated that, you know, they want to make sure that the monetization is something that is respectable to your wallet and your time. You know, one thing that people definitely hate is when the monetization stuff feels like it's a ripoff, like you're not getting enough value when you actually use the monetization stuff, and they don't want to feel like they're forced to have to use it because of the amount of time that you have to invest in something. You know, say like if the characters are something you have to unlock or something, but then the currency that you get to unlock them takes so much time that it almost feels like it forced you to pay so you can get the characters that you want at an earlier time. They're already going on record and saying that they're trying to respect both your time and wallet. That's something very good to go ahead and put up front. So they're very transparent with what they're trying to do here. Also, I went back and checked. Jinx was definitely in the old gameplay footage, so I don't know if that was new gameplay footage, but it definitely had Jinx in the older one for sure. And like they said, Evo is definitely this weekend, but from how they sounded, it don't seem like we'll be getting that update as quickly as Evo. So maybe this is something a little bit during like Q4. We'll probably see the next update to the game, but I definitely want to take a look at this character because I don't know too much about the new League of Legends character. I think the last character that came out when I personally was playing the game was like Thresh. So the blog post is on riotgames.com, which I'll put a link down in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But this is going to be by Sean, which said he is the game director and gameplay design lead for Project L. So it says, Riot Game upcoming 2D fighting game. You just got an update from Tom Kane about our aspirations and current focus as a development team, and I'm super excited for us to be able to provide a small update on Illaoi, updated fighter or champion in our game. Before the team working on her shares some early insight for the development, I want to talk about a little bit about the dev process in Project L overall. So this is some interesting information, guys, because he talks about the actual process of actually picking characters for the game. So he says the ultimate goal is to have a diverse and inclusive roster where everyone can find a champion that truly speaks to them. There are tons of considerations such as, but not limited to, fight fantasy, themes, archetype, team synergy, race, and ethnicity, personality, identity, size, etc. So they really want to make sure that there's something there for everybody. You know, a lot of people were scared that they were probably going to pick like only the human champions. I've been seeing a lot of talk, even though I'm not really big on the project, or not Project L, but the League of Legends community, how people feel like sort of Riot has been leaning towards more of the sort of humanoid characters and less on like the monster characters and stuff like that. But it seems like they're trying to take the approach of they want to make sure that everyone has a character that they like. So they want to try to include as many characters. Now, we've been seeing a lot of the human characters so far in the game, but I'm pretty sure once we start getting a more fleshed out roster, you'll start seeing some of those characters, those monster characters and stuff that you like inside of League of Legends, make their appearance inside of Project L as well. They stated once we have a champion in mind, we plan out when we will begin working on them and then create a pod which consists of folks across disciplines such as design, narrative, art, engineer, tech, QA, production, and audio. So a lot goes into one character. As you can see, there's so many people involved in the project when it comes to just the creation of a simple character, one character, right? So many people involved in the process of creating a character, and it's just so much time and effort to make every character come to life in the way that they're trying to make it come. So then he talks about this little cool little acronym, the DNA, the designer, narrative, artist sort of acronym that they have here. So they talk about the stages of how they actually develop the characters and the focuses that they have. So focus on exploring the possibilities, inspiration each other with cool visuals, thematics, and kits. Talks about, you know, they make a extremely rough model and try to put the kit together. We get the ideas into the game. Once we lock down the direction, the team expands on that and sort of work around the ideas that they have from the rough model and the base idea of the kit that they have in mind when it comes to the actual 2v2 aspect of the characters. So here we go about the part about Illaoi, the Kraken priestess, as it was stated in the video. So it says, as to Illaoi in particular, we have an overwhelming number of champions to pull from. League of Legends have so many characters, right? I made a video talking about like what characters I would like to see inside the list, and that's actually how I found out about the sort of tension between people who like these sort of monstrous characters in the game and sort of how League of Legends, I guess, was not going towards that direction for the latest amount of characters that have been making. But they stated there are beefy juggernauts, agile assassins, powerful mages, to name a few. Still, we try to be thoughtful when deciding to bring the Project L. So, you know, they want to make sure there's a lot of inclusiveness, like they said. So they're trying to make sure of character sizes. You know, there's a very beefy buff woman right here. Like she brolic looking, like she'll definitely lay some hands on somebody. And they just want to make sure that they have a nice variety, right? You know, they don't want all their sort of anime kawaii female characters in the game. No, they want some sort of characteristics and sort of inclusiveness when it comes to the characters they're trying to pick inside the game as well. You know, you'll have your few cute characters and stuff like that from their choice of roster, but they want to make sure that there is something for everyone, like they stated. So the next bit is just as interesting and really important when it comes to the gameplay of fighting games. So they said, we wanted to make sure we identified champions who can both improve our gameplay and be enhanced by being in our game. In short, we want to elevate their fantasy. The Juggernaut should be beefier, the Assassins should be more agile, and the Mages should be more powerful. But beyond that, they should still feel true to who they are. We still want players to know, to love these characters, to see what they expect, and to give them a little more. Essentially, we want players to see a champion in Project L, do something they've never seen before, and think, holy shit, they did what? And of course, they can do that. So to me, this is directly speaking to that accessibility talk about fighting game. You know, a lot of people arguments when it comes to the accessibility talk is a lot of people feel like the characters lose a lot of their personality. By personality, I mean a lot of the characters' movesets and stuff. They feel like the characters are doing less because of them trying to make it to where it's more inclusive, to where people aren't getting confused by the amount of things that characters can do. But you know, when you look at sort of clips and stuff like that, or you look at some of the developer diaries for Guilty Gear Strive, you see that they do have an effective game plan for what they're trying to reach. And it definitely shows if you look at some clips of some people actually playing the game and stuff. Some people just want to do cool shit, and the cool shit is easier to do, then they having a more fun time. You know, this is something that definitely helped more casuals get into the game. And of course, there's always the argument for sure that the casuals that definitely want to learn more about the game will definitely do the harder stuff later, but they're not trying to say that they're trying to take out the game, because they already abbreviate or stated that inside of the last video. They're mainly just emphasizing the structure of fun within fighting games here. They want you to see the moves, they want you to feel the impact of them, they want you to really want to do them, right? They want you to feel like you want to do those moves once you see them actually done. So then they go into the reason why they picked the character, and then talking about one of the people on the team and them being excited about the character and the lore of the character. So then they thought it was a good pick and stuff like that. But then we get down here talking about the character themselves, which we got a nice little picture here. It says, with the support of our central IP strategy team, I wrote a champion brief that sums up what the idea is special of what makes Illaoi special and what makes players access the world love about her. So Illaoi is the truth bearer. So it says the deity of life, ocean, storms, and motions, who often depict as a colossal kraken. Illaoi and her people came from the Serpent Isles in the island of Archie. That includes Bilgewater and her home island of Baru. And so there's so much source material for them to pull from. So they start going into like how they play in League of Legends and basically trying to transfer that into how it works in an actual fighting game 2v2 nonetheless. So you got to think about the support, you got to think about like their impact of their moves and stuff like that, what type of moves, what type of mechanics you want to give them and stuff like that to implement inside of a fighting game, right? So they really try to go into that process and think about like all the things that they could bring from the source material and try to make it something that is fresh but nostalgic to the character as well. They want to make sure they're pulling as much source as possible, but they also want to make their own twist to it because of it is a fighting game. And then of course they start talking about the moveset. So we see some of the key art here for like some of the moves, some of the motions of this character and stuff like that. It look absolutely sick. Like, you know, you can see the impact of her like twirling this huge freaking like kraken thing around, right? Just like slamming it to the ground, or like twirling it, slamming it in like different places, or just moving it and stuff like that. It looks very heavy, just like the way she's moving, but then also she has this nice beefy build to her, so it makes sense on top of that, so it's believable, but also just has a nice impact to it. And then they showcase some of the like motion and posing practice that you see here. So, you know, it's a lot of work that goes into game design, and it's just overall just something that's very beautiful once it all comes together. Like I say, it's a huge document talking about the character and stuff like that and their goals. So based on the story of the character, they try to make something that is believable in a fighting game that makes sense for her overall game plan. So we see the goals for Illaoi here. So it says Illaoi fights alongside her god. Nagakaboros is a consistent looming threat that Illaoi feels supported by an opponent's fear. It's a slow but always in motion. Illaoi is always moving, and she punishes those who are motionless. This is one of the key beliefs of her god, and we wanted to represent this through her gameplay. That is very cool. Overwhelming pressure. Once Illaoi puts her opponent in a position where they get hit or needs to block, she is relentless, forcing her opponents to make her move on her terms. So it says Illaoi Garden Trail. So it says Illaoi is the powerhouse, and Nagakaboros, it has her back. Illaoi's physical strength is her main source of power, and the tentacles from her god are there to assist, not replace. Nagakaboros is not the star of the show. Simple and straightforward. So Illaoi power fantasy comes from her heavy, semi-short hits, heavy long hits, and simultaneous stagger hits from the tentacles, but not from the complexity of managing the states of many entities. So they also don't want her to feel like a puppet matches, which is interesting that they said that. So Illaoi shouldn't feel like ordering around her god. She can control the tentacles from her totem. However, independently spawned tentacles should feel like gifts, not privileges. Illaoi doesn't get to spam these without earning them. Dang, right? That's crazy. They're thinking about, now you got to earn these tentacles, like they're the god, so you're not the master. Not a zoner. Illaoi doesn't want to keep away the opponent with tentacle hits. She wants to create openings to allow her to leap and deal damage herself. And then they go into the character archetype, talking about she's basically a big body juggernaut with overwhelming battering ram when it comes to her power and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work that they said they put inside this. And like I said, I'll put the link down in the description below so you can read the entire thing, the entire article about the character. But it's really cool, man. Just thinking about like how they put the characters in there and knowing that they are trying to be as inclusive as possible when it comes to the character choices that they're actually trying to put inside the game. Anyway, I'm super excited for Project L, man. This game looks like it's going to be really good. I have a lot of faith in the Cannon brothers and what they are creating here. And of course, just the free-to-play model itself just makes it sort of a chef kiss to the actual fighting game genre, just because it was something we were missing for such a long time. Honestly, can't wait until they reveal at least a full match of the game. I just want to see the game fully in motion with 2v2 characters and just one full match with just like everything there as far as the HUD and stuff. I just want to dissect this game as much as possible. Of course, when their public get their hands on it as well, that will also be nice, but I just cannot wait to see more of this title. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below, are you excited for Project L as well? How do you like the new addition of the new character, and what characters you want to see included inside of Project L? As always, you like anything I had to say, drop me a like, I really appreciate it. And if you're more for me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.